Okay, so this is about the number one strategy for becoming an automation professional or becoming a automation superhero, if you like. But this is 7-step strategy that I've used to, really accelerate my knowledge of the industry and the career and my career. And this is like 5 years of, continuous studying and networking and working in different types of automation, different areas of automation, not just in one role, but in different roles in different industries to get a really full picture of what automation is all about, and speaking to the right people, speaking to a global network of people from India and Hong Kong, America, Europe, obviously London, which is also Europe, but specifically London, which is where I am, and networking in London, where there's a lot of things going on in this intelligent automation space. Speaking to a lot of CEOs of new intelligent automation technologies. I'm sure you've seen them on the news and on TV and online. And I just wanted to condense all that I've learned into 7 steps, 7 really key steps, so that you can follow these steps, learn these things, and really accelerate. And hopefully, I really hope that this strategy is very, very valuable to you. So let's just get into it. So step 1 is trends. So the question is, okay, what trends are most important right now? Okay, it's 2022 and there's a few things going on. There's about 4 trends that I've seen right now that are really picking up pace. They've been around for a while, but they're really they've really picked up pace right now. They're in the mainstream. So citizen development. This is a really key thing right now. The RPA, robotic process automation, RPA vendors are really pushing this. And this is basically where they're making their systems, their platforms so intuitive that anyone could pick it up in a matter of weeks. You get trained in a couple of weeks and then you're a developer. And it's almost like Excel, how everyone uses Excel and pretty much anyone can create their own macro. And this is what they want to create with automation. And this is not big scale automation. This is more on the level of task or activity automation, where you can create an automation to, read your emails, sort your emails out, or download some data from an invoice if that's the task that you have to do every day. And you have that robot sitting on your desktop, and then you literally just press a button for different tasks that you want to do. And so if you want to sort your email tasks, it's Monday, or you've been away for a month, or you've been away for 2 weeks and you're back after holidays and you just want to sort your emails out, you just press a button and then it automatically sorts it out. Or you've just received a whole lot of emails with invoices in, and you need to plug that into a spreadsheet. You just press another button and it does that. So this is kind of what this citizen development is all about, where you look at your own day-to-day work and look for manual tasks in your own day-to-day work, and you build automation for that. And then you just have a little control panel on your desktop, and it just does that repeatedly, just like a souped up macro. So that's a really big trend. And the next one obviously is RPA is now becoming intelligent automation. There's not that many pure RPA processes anymore, or projects. When you go out there, unless you're in a business which is pretty new to automation, If your business has been in automation for a while now, it's gonna, you're gonna have some elements of intelligent automation, which is basically robotic process automation with some AI capabilities as part of it. For example, the invoicing process I was talking about, the automation takes information, puts the information into the spreadsheet, but it's the optical character recognition, which is a type of intelligence which reads the invoice, pulls the right data, and puts it into a structured format for the robot to process. So yeah, RPA is almost completely has almost completely become intelligent automation now. There's that mixture of RPA and AI in almost every automation project these days. Then you've got the emergence of small and medium businesses, which are now starting to take on RPA. RPA and intelligent automation, very expensive, especially over the last 5 years. Comparatively cheaper compared to building an API or revamping the whole legacy system of your company. RPA, in comparison to that, is very low cost, but still it has its own price tag, which for a small business still felt quite unattainable. But with cloud computing, I think that has taken a lot of the sting out of the costs, because now you can outsource the infrastructure. You can just put it all on the cloud, and then you can pay as you go as well. And there are business models out there where you don't even have to buy a robot. You can rent a robot, or you can just outsource the whole thing and just pay for automation, almost like how you would outsource a business process to a BPO company. You can now outsource automation to a digital BPO company. So there's a lot of opportunities now which are reducing the costs of entry. So now small and medium businesses are able to come into this space and take advantage of this technology. And then there's a massive growth in services. The industry, intelligent automation, has massively grown. It's billions of pounds, billions of dollars, and and it's growing exponentially. But a lot of that growth is in services. Hence why the industry needs people like you to become automation professionals and automation superstars, so that you can help with the growing demand of these services. So the next step I realized is really important, is how to build a robot. If you're in automation, even if you're not a developer, if you're an analyst and you never want to be a developer, or you're an automation lead or head of automation, it's still vital for you to learn how to build a robot, at least to the basic level, so you understand the different components and how it's put together and what is required to build it, so that you can understand the industry and you can understand how it's built, and you can help build a robust robot. It's very difficult as an analyst to design or to create a PDD, a process definition document, and to ask the right questions of the process owner so that the developer can go ahead and build it. If you don't know how they do build it, you need to understand how the robot makes decisions and how it collects information and how it works, so that you can probe and ask the right questions and make sure you're not missing anything that the developer would then come back and ask for later on. And this just saves you a lot of pain and saves the whole team a lot of pain if you, as an analyst, know how to build a bot, because then you're asking the right question and you're analyzing the process in the right way. But also, if you're leading a team, you want to understand all sides of your team. And if you understand how the developer's mind work and how the analyst's mind works, then you can better guide and lead the whole team on how best to use automation for the business benefit. So then there's basically 5 steps if we really simplify it. Firstly, the robot needs to identify the different elements on a page, i.e. which is the field for typing my email, or which is the password field, or which is the submit button or sign in button. So it needs to understand the different parts of a website or of an application, the different elements, so that when you say click on the button, it knows what button you're talking about. Step 2, most RPA platforms, automation platforms, it's a drag and drop where you're dragging in actions and activities into what's called the studio, and then you just configure it so that the robot knows what to do. So if it's a calculation action, or if it's a open application action, or extract data action, then obviously there needs to be a decision point at some point. Very rarely is there going to be a linear process that you automate. And even if it is very linear, you have to have a decision point in order for it to loop round and run the process again. Otherwise, it's not a repeatable process. So you add the decision point in, or decision points, and then and there's a logic that you have to define. And then you add in the loop so that it makes a decision of what to do. And then, like I said, there needs to be a loop in the process so that it repeats through the process a certain amount of iterations so that it can complete the volume of work it's been provided. And that's the whole point of automation. It's a repetitive process. And then after you've done that and you've built your automated workflow, you press play, and then the robot runs the process. Obviously, it's a lot more complex than that. You have different ways that a robot is triggered by an action, or triggered by a time, scheduled by time. But essentially, those are the 5 steps. But I urge you to go out there and learn about how to build a bot, even if it's in a very basic way, just so it will just make you a lot better at your job, whatever job you have, if it's in an automation team. Now we want to look at the popular AI, and I've seen a lot of different types of AI out there, but these are probably the most popular because they're very easy to implement. They're pretty low cost from the types of applications that are available out there. OCR obviously is very popular because we need the machines to read text. We need the machines to read text off a screen so that it could change that text into a structured format that can be automatically processed, because we have a lot of virtual paperwork, a lot of documents, we have a lot of emails, and so we need something to be able to understand the text. And it's not just documents, it could be text on a web page or something like that. But then the smarter version of OCR, optical character recognition, is ICR, intelligent character recognition, which looks at handwriting, images text in an image, like a scanned document, and it can also understand misspellings as well. So you can only imagine the amount of opportunities that opens the doors to. Then chatbots. Again, chatbots is how we communicate with machines. From a customer service perspective, we use, I'm sure we've all used chatbots on websites. some are not that smart, but you use a chatbot to type, or you use a chatbot using your voice control, and it gives you an answer to your question, or it can even trigger an action. Like you can ask a website chatbot to book you a flight to Paris, for example. But understanding how the chatbot works is really valuable, because then you can start to understand how to identify opportunities. And then on top of that is natural language programming, NLP. This is the smarts behind chatbots. It's how machines understand human natural language. And you may have remembered, earlier I was saying about how you may have an email that you want to read and you want to sort your emails. Natural language will need to read the emails, understand the context, and understand the topic of the email in order to sort those emails into separate subfolders. So that's how natural language works. And so it's really important to understand these four things, because these are going to be most popular. One is because we have a lot of paperwork, virtual and physical paperwork in the office, and the other two because this is how we communicate with machines, and so it's going to be central to the digital transformation journey of every business. So once you understand that, when you start going into delivering automation, you're going to need to know how to build your own toolkit. And there are loads of different tools that you'll need to put together in order to run a project in a controlled manner. The core ones are the business case. Is the project worthwhile? The process definition document. How do we translate the process definition document, which translates the business problem into a technical solution. And then the solution design document is the architecture of what is being built. And then when you have the toolkit, then you're going to have to have a process. You're going to have to be able to create a process for delivery. How do you deliver automation in a repeatable way? So you've got your tools, but you need to know when to use those tools and how to use them in the right order to analyze, design, develop, test, and then launch. And then you're just going around delivering in that repeatable way. And then wrapped around the toolkit and the way to deliver a process and the process to deliver a project, you need to wrap around that governance, so that by the time you get to the end of your project and you're delivering something, you have controlled the quality and you're only delivering robust and fit for purpose automation. And so that's where you're going to need to understand controls and checkpoints, the different sign-off points, the roles and responsibilities, and then some kind of quality criteria at each point. And when you have this repeatable process, then you can essentially deliver automation with your eyes closed. So you've got the knowledge of the industry, you've got your toolkit, and then you've got a way of delivering a project. So you're pretty much there. And to take it that one step further is how do you create an automation team, a center of excellence, and not just how do you create a team, but how do you mature that team? Because there are about 6 levels of maturity. From level 0, which is they've just started, the business has just started, they're exploring the technology, they're not quite sure even which provider they're even going to go to. And then you've got all the way up to level 5, which is a center of excellence as a service, where they have this repeatable process, they have the governance, they have the toolkit, and they have it refined, and it just works like a machine to deliver automation. And they can actually copy and paste it into different parts of the business so that a new automation hub can be set up in a different part of the business and use that exact delivery process. And so having that knowledge of how to set up a team, a center of excellence team, and how to mature that team to get to a place where they can just churn out automation on demand is very powerful. And there are two sides to a team. There's the delivery side, the guys who are delivering the project and designing the automation and building it, and then you've got the support team who are actually maintaining what has been built so it continues to deliver benefit to the business. So that just takes you to another level of knowledge that most people in the automation industry just won't have the knowledge to do. And then finally, it's understanding the entire life cycle. And this is essentially how do you bring in new technology to a business and operationalize it. And there's 5, and we've identified from speaking to our network and the many years of experience, there's about 7 steps. So you've got AEIO YOU as an acronym to remember these things. So you've got awareness. How do you get people bought in and understanding of how to use this technology at a senior level? How do you align the senior team on how best to use this technology? Then how do you educate and empower staff to deliver it? How do you inspect the business and find opportunities, and then ideate? How do you create solutions? Then optimize. How do you build the automation solution in the right way, the best practices? Then the yield, is it actually delivering value? How do you oversee it and support it? And then how do you uncover new technologies? And you just cycle back again. And it's a life cycle, and it really is a cycle, because when you get to U, which is uncover, upskill, upgrade, that reflects the first part, which is uncover. How do you become aware of a technology? Upskill, how do you educate yourself on this new technology? And upgrade, how do you optimize and upgrade your technology, your automation with this new technology? And that is the full life cycle. And if you can remember, and if you can do those 7 steps in this strategy, you probably have more knowledge than 80% of the industry. And I can confidently say 80%, because a lot of the people who are piling into this industry have less than 2 years experience, because it's very new. And most recently, a lot of people have flooded in, new blood has flooded into this automation industry. And so a lot of the teams have people who only have 2 years experience. But with this strategy, you will essentially have 5 years experience under your hat, if you can absorb all this information. And to just make that information more, to give you more information. And so I want to take it further so that you can learn more about these strategies, these 7 steps in the strategy, and go deeper into it. So, you can, as before, you've got the book series, and this is probably the number 1 book in the series, which is Become an Automation Superhero. And it dives deeper into these 7 steps so that you are pointed in the right direction on how to complete these 7 steps, and different links on where to go and what to read. So hopefully you find this really useful. And like I said, if you're part of the IA Simplified community, you can download this book for free. The links are below. The cheat sheet is below in a link as well. For you to download, and then you've got some information as part of that cheat sheet. So I hope you find that really useful. So the IA Simplify community is there to support you, to provide you with all the information that you need to get you to the goals. We want to understand what your goals are, and we want to understand what content you need to get you there as fast as possible. So don't just wait to receive the content. You know, bring the questions to us, bring the questions directly to me, and that will help me to understand what you need and what your requirements are and where you want to get to. So I look forward to seeing you in the community. You know, you keep optimizing, you keep discovering, and keep sharing this community. Let others, your other friends and colleagues, hear about this, because the more people we get involved, the more feedback we get, and the more we can improve our community to get you to where you want to be faster. All right, guys. All right, take care.